Alright, welcome. Hello, my name is Jimmy. This is my first Brighter Shores video. I have quite a bit planned to share today, but I wanted to start by saying I just finished an 8-hour stream. We went through all of the professions. It looks like for the first 2 episodes, which are free to play, Hopeport and Hopeport Forest, we have quite a lot of different information that has been revealed. One of the videos that got leaked recently, the recruit video, apparently wasn't supposed to come out until launch. So I am just learning of this, but nonetheless, I am publishing this video because I think the information is going to be pretty beneficial to people. So the first thing I'll share is that I've taken a lot of notes here. You can see I kind of broke it out. We have different sections. I'm going to try and make sure it's slow enough that anybody could kind of take this in if they want to. But at a high level, there's a lot of different rooms that have been shown. These are kind of like the scenes on the map, or locations, if you will. We have a lot of objects. There's interactable things, maybe for quests. They might be different, nodes in the game. We really have seen mostly just the foraging skill. I know there's like leatherworking and merchant skills that we're going to see later in the episode 4, Chronopolis. The woodworking skill comes in, I believe, Hopeport's Forest, the second episode, but we have barely any information. We've seen like 2 guys chopping a tree, but I always wanted to say maybe it's group skilling, but we don't actually know. Some cool facts that I have found. So we have 9 different nodes for foraging. It looks like the XP is something around 300 to 400 XP for level 0 to 1. All skills start at level 0. Level 1 to 2, it's going to ramp up a little bit, like 5 to 600. And a rough approximation was that level 40 to 41 is something like 40 to 50,000. It's a little bit more XP. We see there's passive activities. It seems that they have different defined durations. One of them we saw was like the interrogation. It said it was a passive activity, continues after logout. That actually gave a total of like a very small amount of XP. The guy was like level 50, and I think it gave like 20 XP. So it seems like there may be some, I'm not sure if those are repeatable tasks, but it's good that at least if it's an inactive activity, you're not getting a ton of XP for that action, right? The alchemy skill is pretty cool. It looks like most of the potions take different time. Sometimes you're using kelp to create these prep dishes, and then those prep dishes then need to be reprocessed into creating the actual potion, right? So there's different stations. We can see like there's a potions bank, a reagents bank. There's like this station that you can use apparently at level 26, we found out later. The combat's pretty cool. It looks like at level 0, you're going to start with 100 HP. We've seen up to level 250 having 1,131 HP. So the approximate curve that I've understood is that in the beginning, you're going to be making about 1.5 to 1.6 HP per level up. So it's not very big, and that's an average. Of course, I don't think there are partial HP levels, but it looks like it's going to slowly ramp up from about 1.5 up to 4 HP per level as you get above 250. The highest level I've seen, we've seen some players in like the upper 380s. I'm not sure if those are just alpha testers or whatever. But I will note there's also a cooking recipe that we saw that showed 379 plus. And that was just like the beginning. Each cooking recipe we saw, I think there were 18 different types of cooking meals that were available. Those are further broken down into sub-meals. So like, for example, the eel, was it jellies? Jellied eels is the term they use. This can be broken out into, it looks like a further, there's 8 more sub recipes here, right? You have Lesser Gray, Rocky, Lord, Murray, Conger, Leopard, and Greater, up to level 2 all the way up to 293. This is for cooking. So basically, you're unlocking a particular dish at like a lowest grade, and then you're grading up as you level up. Professions are tied to episodes. This has been confirmed. This means that if you are just doing the first 2 episodes, you are not going to be able to do mining. There may be a lot of money to be made from mining. There may be a lot of resources, but you'll be confined to doing gathering or foraging. Remember, these are professions, not skills. Tomato, tomato. So some more information I just figured I'd share. There's a lot of NPCs. I actually mapped out, it looks like around maybe 30 or so here. Some of these are monsters. We've seen monsters that hit up to about 100 damage. The player probably has like close to 300 HP when they're doing these fights. The highest we saw was a Wailing Shade, I think was 682 HP. There was a pirate hideout where they showed that sensing ability to see kind of what's on the screen. You've seen probably most of it, but the first thing is the recruits at the sparring ground. I think this will be like our first fight. Maybe it's gonna be the Goblin. But if you guys have any questions, I do stream. I'm happy to answer. I've pretty much processed everything that's out there. I have been reviewing content since the first drop in April, and I was trying to figure out a good time to publish, and I figured, heck, let's just go for it. And to kind of really show up for myself, we did something big. And I'm not always the one to publish something this crazy, but I built a map. I published this to Reddit not too long ago. You guys might have already seen this, but I am the original author of this post. I started, this video that just came out, there's like an 8-minute gameplay loop. I want to say it's from Paul, Ian, maybe it was Andrew. I couldn't quite tell from the voice. But they show a character running from the town square all the way to the wasteland, okay? So I literally followed the compass, and I'm like, okay, south, 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 west, west, south, west, west, north, 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 right? They go around some certain paths on each of these nodes. But then I'm like, okay, well, let's think of it like an actual map, and let's draw the nodes on the map, right? So, for example, Eel Street Bridge, you see this node later in the other video. Okay, each eel we know is available at level 2. It looks like it requires a spear. That spear costs 12 silver. It gives 62 XP, which just that means like 4 eels is going to get you a level up, right? Maybe like 10, depending on what level you get up to. Some of the big like unlocks that I found. The Melf's fishing supplies is actually like on the top right of the town square. It looks like it's going to be accessible from either the town square or this entry over here. We also know there's this wall plant. There's going to be 2 nodes right next to each other. It looks like that's a level 2 foraging node. But this fishing supply store sells the fishing spear, which I think you're going to need to get into fishing at level, I believe right off the bat, level 0. The first place I think you'll actually be fishing should be over at the East Beach. This modeled flounder you can do at level 0. There's going to be 7 nodes. So I think there's a few like key breakthroughs I had. One of them was seeing that north of the town square is Stone Street. This is apparently there's a couple things. So the quick key, as you look at this graphic, anything red is combat, or I guess my Twitch ID. Anything green is foraging. Anything dark blue is fishing, except for that apparently. Anything orange is going to be speculative. And I made one mistake here. This passive Sturgis is a fishing thing, so that should be dark blue like this modeled flounder, right? So just moving right along, we observed the big breakthroughs that the training ground connects to Stone Street. I didn't actually draw. There should be a gray line right here, and there should also be a gray line right here between the sparring ground and the training ground. But the training ground is a pretty large node. It looks like there's some camps on the sides. We believe that Captain DeGreen's office may be the character's starting point. I'm not positive about this, but judging by how it was shown in the launch trailer, it seems like you start up here, you kind of learn your ropes. They give you like a home teleport. You go over to the sparring ground and do your first fight against a level 0. He's just a recruit. You might have a free potion in your inventory. That's just a guess. You then beat the recruit. My guess is you go back to Stone Street and you see like a cutscene where either these goblins are attacking or maybe you have to go defeat them. But once the goblins are killed, I think they're level 0 because we see one that has only 100 HP, which is the same as the recruits, right? But anyway, I think once that's down, you see there's a cutscene of an NPC, like a lady on the ground. She's wearing armor, you know, probably like a soldier, presumably. And I think you need to give her a potion. And this was kind of like ironic because I just had realized that like the doors, the chandelier, all the pathways on the east side of the Stone Street we're definitely matching. So we're 100% sure that the apothecary, which is where you make your alchemy potions, this is all happening right next to Stone Street. So what better fitting method then to go east from Stone Street, grab your potion that you made yourself from kelp that you might have to go down and pick. If you do need the kelp, it's going to be all the way down in the East Beach. There's going to be at least 2 nodes down there. But you can use that kelp to make potions. These potions heal 10% of your HP. There is like an XP drop in here. I probably wrote it somewhere, but it's in the document that we shared previously. Anyway, then you get that potion, and that kind of progresses the main story quest. Other significant things we mapped. This was one of the last things I found, is that the obelisk seems to be just south of this mystery node, which I eventually concluded was west of the town square. You guys can watch my VOD on Twitch if you're really curious how I came to this information, but it's mostly about the pathway, and then there's like a very unique looking wooden bridge that has like these 2 pointers on it. It's a very unique thing, and then it crosses over water, and there was just no other nodes that looked like that. And the water on the east side of the Hopeport obelisk also matches the west side of the Eel Street Bridge, because there's 3 of these eels on the west side, 2 on the east. I know this sounds crazy, but I literally did all this research, and we're like pretty damn sure this is how it works. So I presume the Hopeport teleport is going to bring you right to the spot kind of near the center of the town. Some speculation here, but you can see on the side of the central waterfront, there's presumably a bar, and it has a giant pirate's hook on it. And then you realize there was a place called Hooked Hand Bar. Like, it's got to be the same place, right? So again, I put it in orange. This isn't like something I really confirmed, but everything else here is pretty clear. We see 2 shots of West Waterfront, one when it's raining, one when they're just running through it. But the one where it's raining, there's a guy who's actually like the one that's not raining, there's a guy, but the one that has rain is a player fighting a goblin right where that guy was. So maybe it's like a goblin wearing a cloak. We presume this is part of the plot. There's also a scene on Eel Street, I guess I mentioned, there's like a fishmonger NPC. I'm not sure if he sells fish, but yeah, there's like a bush you hide behind. It might be some plot development. So we presume that you've kind of followed this trail doing some plot. And yeah, so the East Beach is a very popular skilling node. It looks like there's going to be 4 different level 30 pearl cap crabs you can fight. You already saw that there's 7 modeled flounders, so a lot of people will be leveling up fishing here probably for the first time. Then you have different foraging nodes. You have the horn shells, that's level 6 requirement. Then you have the brown kelp, which will be pretty competitive. And then if you go further west, you actually start leveling up in the nodes a bit. So Seashell's Shore has a 1x rock node. This is a foraging node at level 26. It gives a little bit more XP, but there's only 1 node there, so there's a couple of these like one-offs that I'm not really too sure about. Wrinkled starfish, there's 3 down here. You also have these Tider Rider jellyfish. These are level 39, so that's a higher combat level than anything that you probably have seen up to that point. Based on my notes, I mean, I don't think 39 is going to be like crazy difficult to fight. Like, we know that like around 275, yeah, it's probably going to be like maybe 200 HP. So I'm curious like what the reach is. Like if you're like level 20, do you have a shot? We don't really know this stuff yet. I'm trying to just share anything factual that I was able to put together. So without taking too much more time, there's a bunch of these carnivorous plants to level 12. Might be a really good combat training spot. So maybe you run by these jellyfish and then you train on the carnivorous plants. I'm not exactly positive. We did confirm to the west of this, there's a very popular node here as well. This seems to be like either a mid-level fishing spot, like for the early episodes, so all of it's low level, but this might be like where you get to later. But we saw a lot of players here. I think this must have been a beta video or whatever, but there's quite a lot going on here. Then the node north of the Fallen Monument, we're getting more like this ruins area. You can there's like 4 giant ants here, level 44, so again, a little bit higher level. But then we have these green hogberries, level 29 foraging. And then up here, you can see there's a huge monument piece, and we see 4 monsters in the corner, but I'm not even sure what those things were. So I would just assume that a lot of this information might not be accurate, but I figured I would share it with you guys. I figured I'd publish this video just to kind of put something out there, kind of give some like crazy backstory. It is a little bit all over the place. Yeah, the scrapyard, it looks like this is where they're like trapping rats. We don't know exactly what's going on, but there's like a long northern corridor that kind of made sense to be above the sea road, but this is probably the most guesswork on the whole page. But yeah, guys, this is really the only piece that they gave us in terms of map work. We've seen a little bit of like Chronopolis. We've seen a couple forest screenshots, but like it's hard to piece anything together. The fact that I was able to do this, I'm again not a beta tester, it's pretty remarkable, right? So yeah, I'm gonna be streaming this game. We're gonna do a 24-hour stream starting Wednesday, early morning US. I'm assuming the game will be out around somewhere between like maybe 5, even 4 and 8 a.m. Eastern. So I'm going to bed at like, you know, probably 10 o'clock on Tuesday. I'm gonna have a blast with this. I actually had a lot of fun making this already. And I feel like I've actually learned a good bit about the game's like the meta of it and like how it might actually work. So some people might not like the whole approach that I took to this. They might think this is a little bit too extreme, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing and hopefully optimizing. I have a bunch of friends from a bunch of games that are actually excited for this. I don't think we have had a game like this in a long time, and who knows when the next one may come. So wishing you all the very best. Thanks so much for hanging out, for watching the full video. Have an excellent day. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you would like to do so. Take it easy. Have a great day.